Hi, my name is Steve Martilli at freedomeducation.ca. I want to share with you some interesting findings. I've been researching my friends, and I want to talk to you about how to increase your income. Now, this might sound a bit of a contrast, but one of the most, let's say, confused idea about creating income and wealth, at least it was confusing to me at the time, is that there's this something inside of you that generates the outside. In other words, your outside is always matching your inside. And I didn't really quite understand that when I was first playing this game, playing the money game, trying to figure out how to generate some more cash, how to feel happier, how to be healthier. This is all encompassing of wealth, right? And so I really struggled with this idea that, this outside is manifesting from my inside. In other words, the cause is the inside and the effect is the outside. And so this is an idea I share with a lot of my blog, but people struggle with it. And here's one thing to notice. If you pay attention to people who are making good money, over six figures, millionaires, you'll notice a few things about them. You start hanging around with them, you'll start noticing some interesting things about them. Character traits, behaviors, certain habits that they have. And all of this stuff that I call, your behaviors, your thoughts, your perceptions, comes from a deeper realm, comes from another place. And when you get that that's where everything comes from, you start to pay more attention to creating that something that generates the thoughts, perceptions, behaviors that will give you success, that will get you to act a certain way, that will get you to overcome your fears, that will get you to be courageous when you need to be courageous. So one thing that I encourage a lot of my coaching clients to do is to model other people. In other words, start looking at what character traits they're using. Start looking at some of their habits, start looking at some of their beliefs and the way they think, and start modeling that for yourself. Real powerful. Well, as I was looking at online, I just, out of blue, I thought, you know what, I'm going to check. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he goes, we should get paid like CEOs. And I thought, yeah, you're the CEO of your life, right? Now, that's from Robin Sharma's book. I can't remember the name of the book, but the point is that you are the CEO of your life. You're responsible for everything you create. And if you come to a point where you get that you are responsible for everything and you're the CEO of your life, then that means you can command any sort of income that you want. And if you recognize that and that there's a process to attain that wealth, then really the sky's the limit. Now, I went online just to check. The average salary for all chief executive officers in the USA as of today is $727,000. So $727,000. Only $750,000. We're talking big dollars, right? And that's the average. So some below and some above. Now, I think that everyone should have more than enough money. We should all be abundant. So why not you? There's more than enough money. So there's an idea that if you go out there, you've got to go and get what's yours because there's not enough to go around. And that's a disease, that idea. It's a false belief. The reality is there's more than enough for everyone. You just got to attract what's yours. So how do you get in this place of attraction? How do you get in this place of commanding wealth? Well, you've got to have some of these character traits that I talked about, these beliefs, these perceptions that these other CEO types have. And they don't have to necessarily be a CEO, but a leader of some, someone that you want to emulate, someone that you model and want to aspire to. So I've had a lot of great models in my life that were leaders in their field. So I've taken a little bits of each one of these guys, these women, and started to make my own sort of, the Steve Martilli version of this. Because there were some areas of people where I saw them being successful and I was like, I can't do it that way. That's not true with me. And I saw other people, I'm like, oh, that really works for me. So I started to take what worked, test it out in my own experience, and then kind of toss what didn't. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all of these behaviors, these patterns, these habits that these CEOs have in their life, and when I say CEO, I'm talking about leaders, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are business leaders, people who are, in management in a big company, they act and behave a certain way. So my question was always like, well, how do they do it? What's so special about them? And what I've discovered, especially over the last couple of years, is that it comes from their self-image. And again, this is an internal thing, right? That's the cause. The cause is and the effect is the physical on the outside, but the cause is internal. So how do you change the cause to generate a new effect? It's easy to say, become the CEO of your life. And you may have heard that saying before. But to actually be it, to become the CEO, to actually be in that place, how does that happen? Well, you've got to change your self-image. And your self-image will change your self-esteem. And your self-esteem will generate your personal and business confidence. So the key is to focus on generating an empowering self-image, a new version of you that you can live into. So let me talk a little bit about this, and I won't make this too long of a video, but what does it mean to have an empowering, magnifying self-image, and can I maintain that all the time? Well, here's my belief. Your self-esteem is going to go up and it's going to go down. You want to notice, though, the times when it goes up, when you're feeling confident, what is happening with you? What you might notice is that you're focusing so much on all the great things that are happening in your life that you start to magnify this greater version of you, this self-image, this self-portrait that is driving you to act a certain way. And when you don't feel empowered, when your self-esteem is low, you'll notice that you're focusing on what's not working. And that's the difference. So, as it's cycling up and cycling down, your self-esteem is changing. But as it goes up, you get into this place where you are the CEO of your life. And that's when you want to be taking actions and step into the next part of your life. You'll have the courage. You'll be there for it. So that was just my message today, is that two things. One, start to build an empowering self-image. And two, how do you do that? Where do you get ideas for that? Start to emulate people in your environment, or start to bring people in your environment that are already successful, at least in your mind, and start to emulate what they're doing. Start to emulate their beliefs, their thoughts, and their habits. My name's Steve Marty at freedomeducation.ca. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you soon.